What if I told you you could get a 5-bedroom house in San Mateo with direct access to a park, walking distance to some of the best shopping on the peninsula, very close to a school, all in the mid to high $2 million range? You'd probably think I'm crazy, especially in a flat neighborhood. Well, this neighborhood is called Hillsdale, The Lanes, and it's one of the most underrated neighborhoods in all of San Mateo and in the whole peninsula, in my opinion. Many people drive past it without even knowing that it exists. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys why I think The Lanes is super awesome, why people love living here, and then I'll take you inside my newest listing in The Lanes that I hope that you think is a pretty sweet house. So why is the neighborhood called The Lanes? Well, it's pretty simple. There's only a few streets in the whole neighborhood. There's Arbor Lane, Louise Lane, and Heather Lane. And what's super unique about the Lanes area is there's 2 parks at the end of each block. So you basically have Alameda on the western side of the neighborhood. You have Hillsdale Boulevard at the southern part of the neighborhood. And then you have Hillsdale Shopping Center, which is on kind of the east side of the neighborhood. And then we're just kind of south of 31st. And it's a really small pocket that's actually bisected in the middle by Hacienda. And so if you're on the left or right side of Hacienda, then you'll go down each of the lanes. So each lane is 2 blocks long, or depending if you're on the side with Alameda, then just be 1 block long. But basically, if you just kind of like start at Hillsdale and you make your way a little bit north on Hacienda, if you go 1 block to the left or 1 block to the right, there's gonna be a cul-de-sac. And at the end of each cul-de-sac, there's gonna be a neighborhood park. So I've never seen any other parks like this in the neighborhood, but if you just kind of look over here, for example, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. There's someone coming through with their dog. Yeah, right now we're at the end of the cul-de-sac on Arbor Lane. And you can see there's this really cool walkway here that goes directly into the park. So we're gonna walk over there and I'll show you what it's like, but just let me give you a quick idea. You can kind of see all these really cute homes, a lot of 1-level ranch style homes. You do see some homes that have had additions put on them over the years, but it's really, really pretty. And I actually sold this home, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. It's just so beautiful. So especially if you're on some of these lots at the end of the cul-de-sac, then they're a little bit more pie-shaped and you get a little bit more space. You can kind of see here, the folks here, they have a garage that's attached to the house, and then there's a little space over here where they can kind of park another car, which I think is pretty sweet. And how cool is this? It's kind of all the way up here. It's called West Hillsdale Park here, and it goes pretty far. I don't know, it's maybe like a football field length. We've got a basketball court, full court basketball, play structure, huge grassy area. I'm sure if we come back here in a few hours, we're gonna see people with their dogs running around. It's just a nice vibe. Where else can you find literally a park at the end of a cul-de-sac? And that's why I'm personally such a huge fan of The Lanes. We're shooting this in mid-2025, so this year we've only had 8 homes sell in the whole neighborhood. So depending on the year, we're getting between 12 and 15 properties that are selling, coming on the market. Almost everything that comes to the market here doesn't last more than a week or 2 unless the price was just too ambitious in the beginning, and then they readjust it and then they finally got it sold. So we're at the other end of the neighborhood on the east side, and this is the other part. We saw first Hillsdale Park, now this is the other one here. And this one actually has a tennis court, and it's also pretty big. So just kind of take a look over here. You can see we got some massive trees, a lot of space. It's just, again, pretty unique. And so now we're gonna kind of walk back down this path here, and I wanna show you guys how close we are to Hillsdale Shopping Center. So if you haven't been to Hillsdale, it's right off of Hillsdale Boulevard, of course, which is a major 101 exit. This is the biggest shopping center on the North Peninsula. So if we were to head south, the next biggest one is Stanford Shopping Center in Palo Alto. And then there's Serramonte Shopping Center a little bit more north of here. But if you want to go get your shopping on, obviously you can go to downtown Burlingame, downtown San Mateo, downtown San Carlos, but you're not going to get the selection. You're not going to get the big box stores anywhere else here. We have a Nordstrom, there's Macy's, there's actually a Barnes & Noble here, which I'm so glad that we have that. There's a Trader Joe's, there's a Molly Stone's close by, there's a Pinstripes kind of a luxury bowling alley, there's an Apple store with a really cool outdoor kind of turf area that's very popular. The food court recently had, I think it was like a couple $100 million renovation between that and the southern part of the mall. And actually there's a big proposal that's I think being considered for redeveloping part of the mall as well, and there could be some residential housing in there, commercial office space, perhaps kind of similar to what they did Bay Meadows over a 20-year period. I believe the Bohannon family, which owns Hillsdale Shopping Center, they want to redevelop it and make it a little bit more modern. I'm not sure. I'm sure everyone has an opinion on it. I'm sure there's some people who are very in favor of it. I'm sure there's people maybe who are less excited about it. I don't know too much about it aside from I do know that's a project that's in the works. So you can definitely check it out if you're interested, but it is pretty sweet. We're only like 100 feet now from the back of the shopping center. Let's kind of turn it around here. And you can see this is the back side of the mall here, which is a parking garage. So not too exciting, but again, if you were to be in the Lanes area, you're next to the park, but you're also super close to everything you could possibly want right here at the mall. Oh, and they even have a cheesecake factory. In terms of schools, there's actually, everything is super walkable from here. So Laurel Elementary School is less than a quarter-mile walk from here. We have Abbott Middle School, which is just south of Hillsdale Boulevard and Alameda. And then just across the way here is Hillsdale High School. And that is a beautiful campus. We have, I believe, 6 public high schools in the district from San Bruno down through San Carlos area. And I just hear really, really good things about Hillsdale. It's just a beautiful campus. We spent a lot of time there with our son who has played flag football there with Next Level Sports. This is a beautiful campus. If what we're talking about here in the Lanes and kind of buying in San Mateo is something you're thinking about, give me a call. I love chatting with people like you who are thinking about making moves somewhere in the Peninsula. All right, we're just shooting our video in the Lanes here. We ran into one of the most distinguished people in the neighborhood. Wow. Tell us, what do you love about the Lanes?
You know what I love is that the neighbors all know each other.
Yeah.
We know each other's kids, pets. We know each other's vehicles, so we take care of each other. It's very friendly. Our street does annual neighborhood night out.
Oh, that's cool.
Sometimes we'll do an ice cream night. We have a Beresford Hillsdale Neighborhood Association to keep everyone informed. So it's just like being a really small community within a really lovely community.
I think, like, at least from my experience being a realtor for a while, like, not everyone knows about the Lanes, but when they see it, it's like this underrated pocket.
I was born in San Mateo, and
okay.
I didn't know about the Lanes until I bought here. So yeah, it's you really just can't do better. They're not the biggest, most expensive houses, but there's a sense of community you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, now tell me, I know, so you have a little library here that obviously tells me people really love living here and that there's a lot of trust, but what can you say about that?
You know, my kitchen window faces out, and so it's really fun. I watch people come down from the park or come up from the other park. And teenagers, little ones, grandparents, everyone's checking out the little library. And again, it just builds on that sense of community.
Now, is there one lane that's considered the best lane?
Well, Arbor Lane.
Arbor Lane, okay.
No, but I mean, we know each other. We even have, we have groups that meet who have met at the dog park.
Love it.
Live throughout the lanes.
And when you say the dog park, you just mean this park here and
West Hillsdale Park.
Okay, and that there's off-leash times in the morning and evening?
And it's known as a hidden park.
A hidden park,
So that's another sense of community within a community within a community. And
love it.
Great thing, even this little library is fantastic. It was given to me by Rotary, San Mateo Rotary Club.
Wow.
So again, more sense of community in the city of San Mateo.
I'm a huge Rotary fan. When I was 25, I got a scholarship from the Burlingame Rotary Club to go on a Young Professionals Exchange to Sweden. So, and then I was president of Interact Club in high school, which is like junior. So anyways, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, Rotary.
Love to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. What neighborhood tour would be complete without checking out the local library? And because we're in the Lanes and there's the Hillsdale branch of the library, literally like is in the neighborhood, we got to just at least check it out for a sec. So the main branch of the library is in downtown San Mateo, which is right off of 3rd Ave. But this one's pretty cool too. Let's check this out. This is really cool. Yeah, it's cool. Some little butterfly art, everything. This is awesome. Yeah, this is cool. So there's a whole mystery section over there, everything. And then there's just the kids section. So now let's check out the back area. This is cool. We've got the magazines, workstations. I was actually on the board of the Burlingame Library Foundation for a number of years, and I'm really proud of the library system that we have here in San Mateo County. It's first class. So to give an idea on pricing for the Lanes neighborhood, interestingly, in 2024, the median and average price ended the year at about $2,250,000. And I'm looking at my phone because this is so crazy. We look back only 5 years ago, well, actually only 4 years ago, the end of 2020, the median sales price was $1,750,000, and the average sales price was $1,812,000. So basically the median price in over a 4-year period has jumped $500,000. That's an increase of almost 28% just in the last 4 years. Now, is that gonna happen in the next 4 years? I don't know, probably not, but that would be amazing. That's kind of what I was talking about. I feel like this pocket is so underrated for a lot of good reasons. That's just a no-brainer to consider the lanes if you're looking at San Mateo. All right, we're finally here. This is one of the best homes that you'll see in the Lanes neighborhood. Let's go inside and take a look. This is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home. We are about 2,500 square feet. And I love, first of all, it's a stucco exterior with some wood siding over here. I love this kind of covered porch area. And then it's kind of framed by these beautiful Japanese maples here that I'm just a huge fan of maples. But let's go inside. So this floor plan is pretty awesome. It's nice. I mean, if you go back to some of the more original homes in the Lanes, they're not going to feel as open as this one. This one's had a lot of work that's been done over the years. So I really like here in the living room, there's actually multiple access points to the yard, which I'm a huge fan of. I love flow. And you've probably seen, if you've been to any open houses or done a lot of looking online, or you already own, you've been through the process before, the floor plan drives value in a huge way. Of course, there's location, of course, condition, but the type of floor plan can drive value like, 20 to 40% or more from like a really sought after floor plan that's very popular, or a floor plan that's like more what I learned in my real estate classes a long time ago that appraisers would call like functionally obsolete, meaning like they're just not what people want or where the demand is. So this is a really, really good floor plan here. If someone was less into having a fireplace, you could totally remove this and have some double French doors that open to the back. That wouldn't be too hard to do here, but you still have pretty good access. It's not necessary. You have beautiful hardwood floors throughout. Just kind of take a look at some of the detail work here on the trim kind of around the outside with these two darker, I'm not sure what the technical word is, so if you do know, educate me, put it in the comments, but kind of here and here. And then the home kind of flows nicely over here to a dining room. We'll come back to the kitchen over here. I love here that we have a second living space. So I love that there's this second living space over here. You can't really get this if you're looking at a home that's 14 to 1,600 square feet. You just have kind of one living area. But here, when we start getting up into the 2,500 square feet space, you can have good bedroom size, and then you can have probably a second family room or living room area. There's a lot of privacy with the neighbor here, even though the fence is only a few feet on the other side. Here we have those double French doors to the yard, which is pretty sweet. We're gonna come back here and take a look in a few minutes. But this is a over 7,000 square foot lot on a cul-de-sac, which is very rare. For context, in the Lanes, we typically get about 10 homes that will sell per year, which is really not a lot, less than one a month. Kitchen was remodeled a few years ago, so we have some nice countertops here, cabinetry, built-in fridge, all the usual stuff here. But I think it's got a really good flow because you've got dining over there, and then check this out here. We have another kind of sitting area, breakfast room. So I like how you can have a formal room, and then you can have another space over here. You can pop open the MacBook, handle what you need to get done. And then there's a closet here with the washer and dryer. If you have an opportunity to have the washer and dryer within the footprint of the house, but not in the garage, I think that's awesome. And there's a good kind of nice use of space here with the washer dryer being underneath the stairs. I like how the homeowners kind of tuck that in. And we'll come back to garage in a little bit, but let's go check out the ground floor bedrooms. In the 90s, the owner popped up a second story, and that was a permitted addition. So what you're gonna see here is part of the original floor plan, and then I'll show you that in a sec. But we've got 3 bedrooms down here. This is the front bedroom. You can kind of hear I just stepped on the floor, and it was a little squeaky. I don't know if you guys can hear that a little bit. But that's some sign of character in an old house. It's like having some wrinkles. It's not bad. I mean, I guess, sure, could you Botox it or you do whatever you want to do? But here, if this bothers you, okay, how can you solve for that? What you would need to do is pull up the whole floor. And then usually it's because we're hearing the sound between the subfloor and the joists underneath. So that would need to be hammered down. So if you want to update the floors, you could. These are the original floors. But you could put some wider plank European oak in there. Might help the room sometimes feel a little bit bigger. And then we've got a bath here. This is kind of the main bath on this level here for guests and for the front 2 bedrooms. Nothing fancy, very simple, totally fine. I like that it's close to the main living area as well for guests. Then we have bedroom number 2. And what's nice from here is you have a really good view of the side yard, which I'll show you in a sec. And then, of course, more maple trees. I just totally love that. And then we're gonna see what used to be the original primary suite. We've got a newer Nest thermostat here with a primary bath. We have a king size bed, so pretty good size. And then the view here is out onto the patio area. And then if I look beyond that, then I can see the other family room. And I like that the view here is pretty nice. I mean, from almost all the rooms in the house, I cannot see another neighbor. It's very private, and that's kind of the nice thing about being on a cul-de-sac like this with a kind of a pie-shaped lot. There's just a lot of privacy. So I'm not aware of any homes in the lanes being originally 2 stories. There's probably some, but just not aware of them. You can kind of hear a little character as we kind of squeak up the stairs here. But most homes that have 2nd stories, they've been added on to. So there's 2 rooms up here. First, I'm going to show you the primary up here, which is pretty big. This is an awesome size. Really nice views looking out onto, you can actually see some of the neighbors' houses here. Just kind of, yeah, take a look at how big this room is though. This is fantastic. And then we have a closet over here, which is cool. It's a little long and narrow, but still a ton of space. So if we do my closet test here, I'm gonna do it at an angle, a little generous here, but still pretty good. And again, this was done kind of in the late 90s. Now, what's interesting is there's 2 bedrooms up here and 1 bathroom. This is the full bath up here. I might consider, if I want to make this a true primary suite, maybe add in a little door or adding another bathroom in here. Or, I mean, I think there's a little bit of Tetris that can be played here. In fact, I did just get the Switch 2 a couple weeks ago, and I was playing Tetris last night, and I got to level 55 in my first attempt. It was super fun. If any of you work Tetris, like, you're really good at it. I'm curious how far you can go with this game. I need to look it up later. But anyways, this is the 5th bedroom. This is neat. I mean, this could be used as a bedroom, but I kind of think of this more as an office space or flex space. I mean, you could put a twin bed in here, of course. It is legally a 5th bedroom, but it's pretty sweet. You have a nice view looking out up kind of more south, but to the hills. We can see the Belmont Hills up there, and you can kind of see it just all the way down here. So pretty good size. And then we've got a little closet. Yeah, not too much to say about the closet, but it's nice to have one. So the nice thing about being on a 7,000 square foot lot is you can have a 2-car attached garage like this and a pretty big yard. So you have the nice courtyard here, and then just take a look over here. This is right now it's being used as a beautiful rose garden. Obviously you can keep and enjoy the roses, but if you're into planting and vegetables or maybe strawberries, I think this would be a fun spot to do some of that as well. And then I'm gonna show you the other side of the yard, just so you can see how deep this is. Now you can see here is a utility pole. Personally, I'm not huge fans of seeing utility poles or wires, but that just kind of is what it is around the peninsula, unless you go in Hillsdale or Atherton. Okay, this is kind of funny. A lucky golf ball. I'd hold on to this, but I'm not a golfer, so it is it. So this is another really cool side yard over here. So I'd probably consider, I mean, these are nice fruit trees here. I think these are apples here. So these are too young to be, they still have a few more months to keep growing, but originally there was a little fence here, and this is kind of a nice area for their dog, I believe. But again, this is fantastic that you get this much space here. Just about 100 feet on the other side of this house is one of the 2 parks in the lanes, so we are super close. So if you're thinking about buying a home in San Mateo, making a move here, leaving San Mateo, or just anywhere in the peninsula, I'd love to be your Peninsula real estate resource of choice. So reach out to me. All my contact info is below. I love talking about Peninsula real estate, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.